Thank you for coming to class. Very important sloka today. Mrityu sarva haraschaham. I am all devouring death. Not me. Krishna. That's what we forget. Right? In the Yaksha Prashna, one of the questions asked to Yudhisthira was, what is the most amazing thing? We see people dying and everything dying every day, but we think, it won't happen to me. I've got a good doctor. Actually, because you got a doctor, you might die earlier. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Prabhupada Sishimad His Divine Grace Sri Lace Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Prabhupada Sishimad The Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Goswami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Sri Vrindavan Dhama ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is a ki jai. Sadhu Sangha ki jai. All glory to assembled devotees. All glory to assembled devotees. All glory to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Go Premananda Hari Hari. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All together, please. Om Jnana Timarandasya Ganandana Salakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yukta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Prijna Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padang Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapcha Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhana Sudadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpadharubhyascha Kripa Sindho Bevacha Paditanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So, reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, translation and commentary, Srila Prabhupada, verse number 34, chapter 10, Opulence of the Absolute. Very nice verse, reassuring. We don't have to live forever in this material body. Now the materialist will think, this is not nice, I have to die. But the devotee thinks, good, I don't have to stay in this body. But we'll discuss that later. So, please repeat. Mrityu Savaharas Chaham Ubhavas Cha Bhavishyatam Kirti Shri Vak Cha Narinam Smritir Medha Driti Shama Mrityu Sarva Haraschaham Ubhabhavascha Bhavishyatam Kirti Shri Vakcha Narinam Smritir Meda Driti Shama Mrityu Sarva Haraschaham Ubhavascha Bhavishyatam Kirti Shri Vakcha Narinam Smritir Meda Drita Shama. Okay, go. Tu Sarva Harasham Shritam Tu Sarva Harasham Shritam Bhavishyatam Iti Sri Vaksha Narinam Smriti Meda Driti Shama Mrityu Sarva Haraschaham Udbhavasya Vivishyatam Kirti Sri Vaksha Narinam Smritir Meda Driti Shama. Okay? So, Mrityu, death. Sarvahara, all devouring. Cha, also. Aham, I am. Ubhavaha, generation. Cha, also. Bhavishyatam, of future manifestations. Kirti, fame. Shri, opulence or beauty. Vak, fine speech. Cha, also. Narinam, of women. Smritihi, memory. Medha, intelligence. Dritihi, firmness. Shama, patience. So, translation Srila Prabhupada. I am all devouring death, and I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, and steadfastness and patience. So, please repeat. I am all devouring death, and I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. Purport Srila Prabhupada. As soon as a man is born, he dies at every moment. Thus death is devouring every living entity at every moment. But the last stroke is called death itself. That death is Krishna. As for future development, all living entities undergo 6 basic changes. They are born, they grow, they remain for some time, they reproduce, they dwindle, and finally they vanish. Of these changes, the first is deliverance from the womb, and that is Krishna. The first generation is the beginning of all future activities. The 7 opulences listed, fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience, are considered feminine. If a person possesses all of them or some of them, he becomes glorious. If a man is famous as a righteous man, it makes him glorious. Sanskrit is a perfect language and therefore is very glorious. If after studying one can remember a subject matter, he is gifted with a good memory or smritihi, and the ability not only to read many books on different subjects, but to understand them and apply them when necessary, is intelligence, meda, another opulence. The ability to overcome unsteadiness is called firmness or steadfastness, dritihi. And when one is fully qualified yet is humble and gentle, and when one is able to keep his balance both in sorrow and the ecstasy of joy, he has the opulence called patience, shama. So, Mukam Karojivachalam Pangam Laide Grim Yat Kripa Tamaham Bande Sri Guru Dinadarinam. So the purport is very wonderful. We read it through in a couple of minutes, but we can also take purports, Prabhupada's purports, and we can spend time reading them and contemplating the message. That would be intelligence, right? Applying the good subject matter knowledge nicely, contemplating it, deepening our understanding. We will get intuition by the grace of Krishna, what these things mean. And it's very interesting, in the verse there, I am all devouring death. That is one full stop. And then the new sentence, I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. So Krishna explains, I am death, but I'm also generating principle. I'm creating also. So this is the material world, right? It is particularly Bhumandala is known as Marcha Loka, the Marcha Loka, because here death is very much evident. In the higher planetary systems, you may be there for millennia, for half the lifetime of Brahma, or something like that. You may live many, many yugas and Divya yugas and Maha yugas there. And there's little, in the Swagaloka or above that, there's no disease or everyone is contemplating the absolute truth. So that is not the case here. This is Marchaloka, right? You just pick up a newspaper and there's always some war going on and thousands of people are dying and throwing their lives away and being sacrificed by demoniac leaders. There is death everywhere. You walk down the street and then there's an accident. But, as we said at the beginning of the class, many people, they just think, that won't happen to me. It might happen in the future, but the future is a long way off. So in this way, they discount. Whereas many sages, Prabhupada himself, explained that we should use every moment to develop our Krishna consciousness, to develop some sukriti, bhakti sukriti. We should use every moment because, yes, in the next chapter, Krishna says, Arjuna sees the universal form, the Virat Rupa, and he sees that Krishna has many heads, many arms. This is the divine form. Because here in this chapter, Krishna is saying, I'm all these wonderful things. See me in this way. But Krishna is not just the wonderful things, he's also the, we can say, the darker side of things. Everything is Krishna. Krishna is Mrityu. So at the end, towards the end, that's what provokes the next chapter. Krishna is asked by Arjuna, let me see your form, the form within which you have entered this material world, this Virat. Now this is a very interesting point, because in the modern educational system, they think there is just material elements, and then there's laws governing them, physical laws, chemical laws. But from the Vedic paradigm, we know that there are devatas, and there are they are empowered aspects of Krishna. They may be just jivas like us, but they're empowered to supervise some law or some element of the material world. So the picture we're given in the modern world is, there's just matter, and then there's the laws of matter, and there's nothing else. But no, from the Vedas we understand that, yes, those laws are there, but they're being maintained by the Devata, and ultimately by Krishna. What is that verse? Everything, Mata Paratram Nanya, everything is resting upon me. So Krishna is not saying upon my impersonal energy, but everything is resting upon my form. My form is the source of energy that is maintaining the material laws. We've discussed this before, that the material world, that has two aspects. It has a scientific aspect that the empirical scientists are doing, right? They're using their telescopes and microscopes and test tubes, and they're trying to understand how the material energy works. And it is running according to laws. But those laws are not just existing. They may be perceivable through scientific inquiry and examination, but who is maintaining those laws? Who has created those laws? Just like there are laws in India according to the traffic, but they're being created by the government and they're being maintained by the government. There's not just a road and then suddenly there are laws about traffic lights or which side of the road you... Of course in India they don't follow that very much, but which side of the road you should drive upon. But there are laws there and there are police. Hey, what are you doing? You're driving on the pavement. Oh, and that's normal. Okay, carry on. But there is... So there are governors, there are people empowered by the government, policemen, that you follow the laws and they're maintaining the laws, right? If there were no policemen, everyone would drive like they do. But anyway, you see the point. Joking aside, their laws are created by some powerful government and they're maintained by the agents of the government. So this is in the material world, of course, and it's evident before our eyes. But in the Vedic paradigm, we understand basically there are three modes of material nature. And there is a Devata in charge. Brahma is predominant in charge of Rajagun. Vishnu is predominant in charge of Sattvagun. Lord Shiva is in charge of Tamagun. And then there is so many Devata, they're described in the Bhagavatam, not all of them, but we understand that there are 33 million Devatas. So we may think, oh, that's incredible. But you think how many civil servants there are in India, right? There aren't just the police. There is the tax department, the defense department, there is this government, there is local government, there is different departments, financial department, there is planning department, there is... How many civil servants are running in India? Anybody have an estimate? It's interesting. So Krishna is running the whole universe, and there are millions of universes, right? Outside of this one, or within the causal ocean. So in this universe, 33 million devatas are mentioned, and that doesn't seem a lot when you think that Krishna is not just running a country, he's running all the lokas. Satyaloka, Tapaloka, Janaloka, Mahaloka, Swagaloka, Bhuloka, Bhuloka, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Rasatala, Tala, Mahatala, Rasatala, Patala. And there's all different conditions within all those basic lokas. So, we're accustomed, we discussed this, we're accustomed to the conditions that we're living in now on Bhuloka. But in all these other lokas, like we say, they live longer, they have different social systems largely, they have different conditions of life. It is even described in the Bhagavatam there, in the Bhagavatam, and Prabhupada talked about that there are certain Devalokas, because we say Swagaloka, but within Swagaloka there may be different areas, and there in those Devalokas, they live very, very long, and they have very amorous, loving relations, affectionate with the residents there. But then the Devi, she becomes pregnant. And that means that she's going to leave that particular loka. When the child is born, she leaves the loka. The child replaces her. So these are different conditions of life. Huh? Of course, now in Kali Yuga, anyway, we don't want to talk, but the mother is killing the child. But in there, the child is replacing the Devi. And she may return to some other karmic situation. So these are called lokas, locations. I think we can guess that the English word location, because Sanskrit is said to be the mother of all languages, so we can understand that location has come from loka. Just like in Delhi, we have the transport loka, we have the government loka, we have the ambassador, what do they call it? Where the other countries have offices. Embassy loka. We have the police loka. We have the defense loka. We have all these lokas. And they're kind of like blending into one another, so on and so forth. So there are so many lokas. And they are all encapsulated within them, and there's people within the defense loka, the financial loka, and so there are different lokas all over the world, basically 14 worlds, but it is also sometimes separated into the 3 worlds, the upper planetary, the middle planetary system, and the lower planetary system. And these are all Triloka, it's said there in Bhagavatam. So there are different conditions in everything, but those conditions are maintained by these devatas. These devatas are empowered, just like the policeman is empowered to, hey, stop here, come here, you go there, try this. So that is the mystical aspect, because ultimately all those devatas, they are empowered by the Prime Minister, right? Ultimately, he's the boss. Or sometimes in India or in different governments, they say there's a president who is the respected final maintainer of the government. So anyway, whatever, but they are empowered by the government. So all these devatas, ultimately, they all get their Shakti, all get their position, all get their guidance. Yes, because that's another thing, right? The devatas, they're being guided. The policemen are getting policy decisions from the government. So Krishna is giving policy decisions here and there. And that's why it's said, everything rests upon me. I am the final authority. Mrityu sarva haraschaham. So death is resting upon Krishna, but all these different opulences here, they're all resting upon Krishna. Right, it says here that of feminine attributes, I am fame and beauty. So everybody knows what is beautiful and what is not beautiful, right? So that is a certain rasa. Right, you look at a beautiful sunset and you think, this is beautiful. But why? Because that is that rasa that you derive from seeing a beautiful sunset. And it's very mystical, right? The scientist comes and said, oh, it's the light going through the water molecules at a certain angle in it. But that is not what you see when you see the beauty. You see the rasa aspect. So that is the mystical aspect. So Krishna has imbued even the material world and even Bhuloka here with so much beauty and potency. And so this is what he's saying here. You see me in this way, Arjuna. You see all my, I think at the end, yad yad vibhuti mat satvam srimad urjatam evava tat tat eva kadashkaram mya sambhavam. Everything wonderful in this world knows that it just comes from a spark of my glory. So it's just a spark of Krishna's glory. And this is the material world, and we're in Bhuloka, which we discussed is the most gross area of the universe. It is the most gross area, and still we see all these wonderful things. But why are we seeing, this is beautiful, this is not beautiful, this is attractive, this is not attractive, this is powerful, this is weak? Why are we seeing all that? It is the mystic potency of Krishna that has entered into it. And even though we're in this material body, we're able to react to that rasa that is there in the sunset, that is there in a beautiful woman or a beautiful handsome man or a beautiful painting, that somehow reacts. So we are able to perceive rasa. So therefore Krishna explains earlier in the Gita, if you remember, he said, by taste, rasoam apsekund, by, not water, that is another rasa, but he says, by experiencing and tasting the higher ras, you can give up attachment to the lower ras. So this material world, it does provide a lower ras. Beautiful women, I'm rich and handsome, and I've got a house, and I've got a fancy car, and everything's looking good. So there's a certain rasa, and people become attached to that. But we know that that is not a very, that is not a permanent situation. That is very temporary. It is the seduction of the illusory energy, the temporary energy. So Krishna tells Arjuna, by experiencing a higher taste, you become fixed in consciousness. So that is what Krishna is telling Arjuna here. See the higher things in this material world and see them in relationship to me. Don't see them in relationship to what the material scientists are saying. Oh, it's a chemical reaction. It's, it's just the sunlight is giving these colors. No, see it as the mystic potencies of Krishna. That is what Krishna is doing. So this is the first step in God realization, to see Krishna here, present before us, because this is what we have to deal with, right? When we're driving our motor car or our scooter or walking in the road, right, we may be thinking of Krishna, but we also have to deal with this material world. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, and therefore ourselves, a way that we can see Krishna in the material energy. And here are the hints. We'll reread them just so we know. This is just today's sloka. I am death. So, of course, Krishna is being very strong there, right? And I am the but then he lightens it, or he puts the opposite, because the material world is a place of duality, right? I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. So I'm death, but I'm also generating babies and calves and birds in the sky, in the farm. And women. Now among women, yes, but Prabhupada makes it clear in the purport that these opulences here, that they are considered feminine, in the sense, because this leads back to our understanding that yes, Krishna is the absolute truth, but there are two aspects to Krishna, Purusha and Prakriti, and that can be translated to male and female, or generator of energy, and the energies that are generated, female. Just like, same for us as spirit souls. We have a soul, but we're generating consciousness. So we are also, because we're a sample of Krishna, Mama Angsa, we are also Purusha and Prakriti. We have our soul, And we have our Prakriti aspect, which is our consciousness. So Krishna is explaining that yes, see all this Prakriti, all these opulences within the material world, this Prakriti, this among women, this opulence here of fame, right? Fortune, that means opulence or good fortune. Fine speech, if somebody can speak nicely. Somebody that has good memory. Somebody who's intelligent, able to make the right decision. And steadfast, is steady and patient, right? So they were explained in the purport. But these are feminine. So that means they are part of the consciousness. They are part of the consciousness. The soul is always pure. This is an important point to remember. Mama angsa jiva loke, jiva bhuta sanatana. The soul is never polluted, but the consciousness is polluted in the material world by trying to be an enjoyer of the material elements. But how to stop that? Instead of trying to enjoy the opulences of the material world according to our taste, whether it is a taste as an elephant or a lion or a tiger or a mosquito, they're all trying to enjoy different taste. But in the human form, we can attain a taste for the transcendence. And how do we get that? As we always say, Seva Bhav. Atak Shri Krishna Namadi Nabhavad Graham Indriya. So the spiritual world above all these 14 lokas is Goloka and Harinam. And then below that there is Shiva Loka, Maheshnam. And this is Durga Dham. These are the 4 basic lokas in total. So how do we get that higher taste? Atak Shri Krishna Namadi. The name, form, qualities and pastimes of Krishna we cannot get with the material senses. What is that? Sevan Mukha. But Mukhe, by the mood of service to Krishna, Swayam Eva Spuryada, Spurti. Spurti means spontaneously they arise. That means that you may be approaching Guru, bona fide Guru, Uttamadhikari and Krishna, Tulsi Maharani, Bhagavatam, with seva mood. Oh, I want to understand. I want to use my senses in understanding the Bhagavatam and the Gita. I want to understand that. So I'm doing it in a mood of service. What is that service? Bhajatam priti purvakam. We shravanam. We use our hearing sense with a loving attitude towards the Bhagavatam in our heart. We talk about Krishna, we chant kirtan with loving attitude in our heart. Smaranam. We remember the form of Krishna, but we don't just mechanically remember, but we love with a loving attitude. And then Padasevanam, we do some services to Krishna. Bhajatam priti purvakam. But spuryada, those services in of themselves do not reveal the Supreme Lord. That's what it's meant by Sevan Mukhe Hijivado, starting with the tongue, Spurti. They become spontaneously, it's called ahoitaki, apratiyata. That's in the Bhagavatam. That they are causeless. What it means is that Krishna reveals himself out of his mercy. There is a philosophy, it's called Karma Mimamsa, that you don't have to worship Vishnu. It is by Janmani, one rishi. It's one of the 6 darshans. And they say you don't have to worship Vishnu. You just have to perform a good yajna, be pious, and automatically good things will come to you. That is called Karma Mimamsa. The next one is Upamamsa, is by Vedavyas, devotional. So that is okay. You can become pious and all the good things will come. But it is a mistake to think that they're coming mechanically. That because you're performing a yajna, you are somehow forcing Vishnu to give you a result. Because that means you're putting yourself in the driving seat. I am the yajna pati, I am the Lord of the yajna, and now Vishnu, you've got to do what I want. Right? Yeah, you see the point. You're still thinking, because everyone in the material world is thinking Ishwara Bhav. I am the Supreme Lord. I chant and Krishna's got to come. I perform a yajna. That means I'm Ravana. I'm not Narottam Das Thakur. No, but the devotee, as Prabhupada says in the purport, right? He said the devotee is always humble and meek. And that is what forces Krishna in one sense. That's what attracts Krishna, isn't it? Because if the devotee, Trinadapi Sanicheda, and he does his service, his chanting, he studies Bhagavatam, he does sadhu seva, Vaishnava seva, but he remains humble and meek, then that attracts Krishna. And when you're attracting Krishna, Krishna is revealed to you, right? So this is what Lord Chaitanya says, is it not, right? Trinadapi. If you look at the Shikshastakam, the second verse is Nam Nam Makuriba. Oh, I'm chanting, but I don't have any taste, right? But then the third verse is Trinadapi Sanichena Tarora. I become tolerant and humble and meek, and then the next verse is Nadanam Najanam Nasandaram. I don't want anything. I only want your service. So verse number 2 is saying, I don't have any taste for chanting. Verse number 3 is saying, just become tolerant. Don't want respect, but give respect to everyone as spirit soul. Don't be a form fire, don't be nasty, control your thoughts. But don't be a fool at the same time. So be humble, give respect. And then number 4 verse is saying, oh, I don't want anything in this world. I don't want money, I don't want position, I don't want sex life and the expansions of sex life. I don't want those. I want to just be your devotee. So this is what Prabhupada, right, if I remember correctly, Smriti, yes, and when one is fully qualified, yet is humble and gentle, and when one is able to keep his balance in sorrow and ecstasy of joy, he has the opulence called patience, right? Trinadapi, and give respect but don't expect, and be tolerant. So you see how brilliant Prabhupada's purports are. They are like Shastra. He's saying, yes, you get all these opulences, but if you're still gentle and humble, then Krishna, Swayam Eva Spuryada, Krishna will be attracted to you, and when he's attracted, you're getting his association, right? So you will automatically realize Krishna, and as you realize Krishna, you will lose the taste for this material world, right? This body wants to enjoy in the material world. So what do the great acharyas and everyone say? Regulate it. Only eat Krishna Prasad. If you want sex life, get married and have children, but grow them up in Krishna consciousness. Sleep, but don't sleep during dusk and dawn like this. Don't do all those things. Sleep in a regulated way. And what is it? Defend. Yeah, defend piously, but be tolerant and humble and be intelligent, right? Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. These 4 So this is what the acharyas regulate your material activities in a pious way. Earn money if you must, but do it with an activity that is punya. Don't be a cheater. Don't be, don't work in a slaughterhouse and think, oh, I'm working, I'll go back to Godhead. No, do pure, simple living, high thinking. And then do your bhajan. Study Bhagavatam with a mood of service. Chant with a mood of service. Sevan mukhi jivado. Sevan, seva bhav. And then you will be able to get the realization of the higher taste. And then you'll become free of mrityu. And you'll develop fame, fortune, everything. These things will come. But you must always remember that these are the gifts of Krishna. So the devotee, he accepts everything that comes to him as the mercy of Krishna. I remember one story of Prabhupada. Prabhupada, in the early days, one devotee, he was Prabhupada's personal servant. And suddenly he just disappeared one day. He came back 6 months later and he said, oh, Prabhupada, I'm so sorry, my senses overwhelmed me and I went back to sense enjoyment, but I don't want to, I've come back to you. And so Prabhupada said, I remember you used to make nice rasgulla. Go to the kitchen, make me rasgulla. That was it. You understand? There was no chastisement, there was nothing, there was just re-engagement in service. So of course, if we have trouble and we can't maintain, or we have problems, or we do something wrong, just remember that Krishna and the great pure devotees, they are the ocean of kindness. But of course, we shouldn't exploit that, but we should think like that. I have nowhere else to go, like that servant of Prabhupada. Oh, I had trouble with my mind or this. And then Prabhupada, yes, bring some rasgulla, I'm hungry. So that is Prabhupada. It's not, that is the acharyas, that is the heart of the Vaishnava. You see, this is patience and humility and being gentle. And the Guru is that is there in Shastra. The Guru is the manifestation of the mercy of the Supreme Lord. That is how we understand who is Guru. Is merciful, is forgiving. So these are all the great qualities that are there in the Vaishnavas. And when we read this, we become inspired. And then we can go beyond that and think, not beyond in a sense, but we can see what is supporting all these wonderful things. And then if we have a vision, if we have a vision of the spiritual world where everyone is in ecstasy and unselfish and kind and full of, everyone is Atmaram, right? In this material world, we are Satchitananda Vigraha. In this world, Sat, we're in anxiety, right? We don't think we're eternal. Mrityu is coming. So, but in the spiritual, everyone is Atmaram. And then Chit. In this material world, everyone is confused. Should I vote for him or should I not vote, or what should I do? The illusory Chit is not clear. But in the spiritual world, everyone is perfectly cognizant and able to understand and perceive what to do, what is the best course of action, what the Chit function is perfect because it's in relationship to Krishna. And then Anand. In this world, everyone, I want to be happy. So, So people take, oh, I'll drink daru, I'll take bong, and I'll dance in the street when my daughter's married, or something like that. They want anand, and they take intoxication because they're not satisfied with just sitting in the chair, you see. But in the spiritual world, everyone is full of ecstasy. They're full of ecstasy. They're ananda. And then vigraha. Here in this material world, this means form and personality. Here we think, I'm this body. We look in the mirror and we think, God, I'm getting old. So we begin, yeah, let's go and buy some of that cream they said on the television. So, but in the spiritual world, everyone is beautiful and shining with effulgence and happiness. But we're concerned, we're thinking, I'm this material body. And they're situated in their swarup. They're situated in their eternal relationship with Krishna. So here, Satchidananda Vigraha is suppressed by the mind. But if we meditate on this transcendental world, we start to develop our swarup. We start to develop seva bhav. We realize Krishna. We realize the potencies of Krishna. We realize Gaur-Nitai. We understand the family of Gaur-Nitai. So that is done through sadhu sangha, through Shastra and sadhu sangha. So you might say, oh, where's sadhu sangha? Sadhu sangha is in Prabhupada's books. When you read Prabhupada's commentary, Prabhupada has compressed all the Acharya's ideas, put himself in the Bhagavatam, this and that. That is sadhu sangha. If we listen to Prabhupada's lecture, that is sadhu sangha. Then our determination to go for the higher taste will remain strong. You see, because we can go back to the material world, or we can go to spiritual world. This is Tatasta Shakti. So how to keep that determination? Because Krishna says later in the Gita, right? He says, Arjuna, I've explained everything to you now. But now you can decide what to do. Right? I've talked about karma, I've talked about bhakti, I've talked about the Virat Rupa, I've talked about Gyan, all this knowledge. But now you decide. In fact, but now here again, he says at one point. But then Arjuna says, Karishyate tava vachanam. But now, yes, I have heard from you, and I'm ready to act according to your words. So this is the point, that the Shastra, the Bhagavatam, the sadhus, the Uttamadhikaris, the commentary, and also the general body of devotees that are sincere. We shouldn't just think, I only want to associate with Rupa Goswami. No, all the devotees, if we learn the art of association nicely, we stay with the devotees, but we must pay special attention to the great acharyas. This is Rupa, what is that Narottam? Shri Rupa Manjari Pada. He says, he's not the Diksha disciple of Rupa Goswami, but he says, I'm offering you all my vrata, all my mantra, all my tapa. I offer it to you. Because he's our head, Rupa Manjari. He's the head of our parivar. So we shouldn't think, oh, the Diksha Guru is everything for all time. No, we should expand the concept of Guru to include all the great acharyas, all the great devotees, the 6 Goswamis, the Jamuna Acharya, Ramanuja, all these great devotees. We should be Bhakti Vinod Thakur, all this. So by that Sangha, we remain strong in our determination. Understand? Because we have that choice that Krishna said to Arjuna. Do you want to go to the spiritual world, or do you want to go to the material world? That is your choice, Arjuna. Arjuna, well, I've heard from you, so now I'm going to do that. So we can keep that determination by good Sangha. And that means regulated bhakti. We read Shastra daily, we chant daily, we follow regulative principles, we avoid asatsangi chagi, non-devotional food, non-devotional association, we're neutral to that. We keep good association, and then we keep the determination to go to the spiritual world. And then Spuryada. Krishna sees us and he Yetam mam prapadyante. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So any quick question?
Like Hare Krishna,
Huh?
Hare Krishna, if we are in this material body, but if we are doing the devotional service, then we are getting this it's amazing test in devotional service. When it is like a little 1%, I think 1% or whatever. If it is like that, if our actual Swarupa is there, Atma, then how much?
Well, the Swarup is explained. Prabhupada explains that the soul is like a seed. It's like a bija. Just like a seed contains the tree within it. But the tree doesn't develop in one moment. And then Rupa Goswami, Nectar of Devotion, he explains the Bhakti Lata Bij is like a seed, and it grows into slowly, and it grows through the universe, the material universe. This is allegory, metaphor. And then goes through the material, and then it finds shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna, and then it gives a flower, and then the fruit of the flower is prem. So everybody who knows, like if you plant tulsi, it's not a big tulsi straight away. So bhakti is like that. The soul is a beach, and by Shravanam Kirtanam, the soul develops slowly. And then you get Swarup Siddhi. But Swarup, knowledge of your Swarup, the center of that Swarup is the Seva Bhav. You understand? So the developed devotee, he has a developed attitude of service. You understand? So the stronger devotee has a stronger sense of service. And that is the center of it. Just for example, if I have the mentality of a dog, then around that, the dog body will come in the future, because I've got that mentality. So the mentality creates the form and the activities. You understand? So the center mentality of a devotee is Seva Bhav. To Krishna and Krishna's devotees, Gaunita. He has Seva Bhav. So if you want to develop your Swarup, Nichera Krishna Das, by becoming a servant. Now, Sahajiya means that I imagine that I'm dancing with the gopis, but I only started chanting last week. Right? So Sahajiya means going the easy way. No, you practice, and your development will be gradual, and your practice should be in tune with your state. If you think, oh, I'm dancing in the Ras Leela because I read it in the Bhagavatam, that is a dangerous mentality. You can't break into the spiritual world just by your meditation. You have to enter with humility, You have to develop Seva Bhav, and then you'll be invited in. You understand? It's not that you can go into the spiritual world like a warrior. I've been meditating for 1 year and now I'm in the spiritual world. Pay attention. No, that's a danger. That is not the... You understand my point? So always work on your service attitude to the name, to the Bhagavatam, to the sadhus. You understand? Work on your service attitude. And then that, your swarup will develop around that.
Automatically, Krishna.
Yes, automatically. That is called Bhajana Pranali. It's, if you want, 39th chapter of Jaiva Dharma by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He explains all that. That you center your development around service attitude. And then automatically the rest will develop from the soul. Because you see, we want to enjoy in the material world, so sometimes we bring that enjoyment attitude to the spiritual practice. Oh, I'm going to chant Hare Krishna so I can enjoy. You understand? I'm going to study the Bhagavatam so that I can enjoy for myself. You understand? So that's the material attitude. I want to use everything, eating, sleeping, money, this, so that I enjoy. So sometimes we come to the spiritual practices, sadhana bhakti, and we still have this enjoying practice, conditioning. So we think, oh, I'm going to chant and I'm going to enjoy. That's okay at the beginning, you know, but good instruction is necessary. You should chant Hare Krishna as a yajna, as an offering. You understand? You read the Bhagavatam as yajna. Just like at the beginning of the Bhagavatam, the sages at Naimisharanya, they say, Sutta Goswami, being blessed with many years, please tell us of the conversation. We are between Parikshit and Sukadev Goswami. We are gathered here at Naimisharanya, seeing that Kali Yuga is coming, and we're gathered here to perform yajna. They want to hear, this is yajna. This is their yajna. So yajna means that which is done for the other.
For the service for the Lord.
Yeah. So we hear the Bhagavatam as a yajna. We chant Hare, that's later actually in the Gita, isn't it? Yajnanam japa yajnanam asmi. Of all yajnas I am japa. So we have to chant with this seva bhav, with this attitude of yajna. Then we become resident of the spiritual world. That is how we enter, by Krishna's and Guru's grace, the spiritual plane. Because that is the atmosphere of yajna and seva bhav. Here, it's the atmosphere of aham mameti, I'm the big man. And you better understand that. You understand that? So that keeps you in the material world. But of course, we carry that to the spiritual world, but spiritual practice. But if we get good instruction and we chant, it'll it'll go away. But if knowledge is very important, because that's how I should be thinking. You see, that's why I say sadhu sangha. Okay, we'll finish on that point. Thank you all very much. See you next week, I hope. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai.